Hey y'all, happy Tuesday. So, picking back up where we left off yesterday, in letting the peace of God rule in your hearts, or as the Amplified tells us, and as Paul used here in the Greek, let the peace of God act as an umpire in your hearts. And I'm reading from Colossians 3. This is Colossians 3:15. And I love the Amplified. And it goes on to tell us what the umpire does, or how he should rule or act as an umpire in our lives. Let the peace of God rule, act as an umpire continually in your hearts, deciding and settling with finality all questions that arise in your minds. And I want you to think about in last week when we were talking about the passage from Romans chapter 8, and those who are according to the flesh and those who are according to the Spirit. And that those who are according to the flesh, let's just go there for just a second as a refresher. This was Romans 8, 5, and 6. And in the King James, just to shorten it down just for a little bit, it says, "For to be carnally minded is death, but to be spiritually minded is life and peace." And so, tying those two things in together, that we are to allow the peace of God to decide on matters that arise. To decide on matters that arise in our minds. Now listen to this. This is really interesting. And we talk about the heart and the mind. We have to renew our mind. Our spirits are born again. And we believe with our heart. For the man believes with his heart that Jesus Christ was raised from the dead. So we believe with our heart. We think with our mind. And so he says, let the peace which comes from Christ act as an umpire continually in your hearts, deciding and settling with finality all questions that arise in your mind. So, when we set our minds at ease, the umpire acts as peace in our heart, or the umpire acts as peace in our heart and settles the questions in our mind. That's the better way to say that. Peace of God umpires in our hearts and settles those things in our mind. I don't know if you've ever experienced this. I experience this at the moment, almost a daily basis, as we're getting ready for Caleb to be born. And, this is the third time through. I know the process. I know what happens. But that doesn't stop the enemy from trying to shake me or throw me off balance, which again, those spiky shoes of peace are wonderful. And so I have to, with my heart, I trust God and I trust His Word. And I know that He has already gone before me. And I know that He has created me to be Caleb's mother and to bring him into this world, that He designed my body to birth this baby. I mean, let's just be real about it. He did. This was no surprise to Him. He who is the Alpha and Omega has already gone before me. He knows who's going to be working. He knows. He knows. And so my heart can take peace and rest in those truths. And so when my heart takes rest and my heart takes peace in those truths, then it settles those questions, or those, what's the word that Paul uses here? Yeah, questions that might arise in my mind. Those that Satan continually bombards and continually brings about, and he's whispering all the time. But when I settle in my heart with the peace of God, if I let His peace act as an umpire, then it settles those things in my mind. And so I don't have to be anxious. I don't have to be worried. And as it says in Romans 8:6, to be carnally minded, to be fleshly minded is death. But to be spiritually minded is peace. To be spiritually minded, to seek those things which gratify the Holy Spirit. And so that is my responsibility, to seek those things. And allow the peace of God to act as an umpire. Now, tomorrow we're going to talk about what that umpire does. I love this part. I can't wait to see you. Bye, y'all.